So, wanted to kind of comment on some of the things that happened today. So we spent some time earlier today with the Jewish community here, leadership both from Williamsburg and Jersey City. It's a community that's grown in Jersey City over the last 3 years, and we wanted to express our heartfelt sentiment that we are so sorry for their loss and for what they've experienced, and that we are thankful that they're here as part of Jersey City. We think our diversity makes us better, and they've grown here over the last couple of years, and we're thankful to have them. The second thing that we wanted to talk about was that from our standpoint, there is no question that this is a hate crime, and anti-Semitism should be called out aggressively and firmly, immediately, for what it is. And anything other than that is a disservice to anti-Semitism. I'm Jewish. I'm the grandson of Holocaust survivors who immigrated to this country because it's a place of tolerance. And like I said, we need to be aggressive in calling it out for what it is. I know some people will say that we should review things and take our time, but when you look at the facts of what transpired yesterday, it's difficult to argue anything other than that. We know that they traveled over a mile deliberately and slowly to this location. We know that they bypassed many targets on the way. We know that they bypassed targets immediately near the store. We know that they took out long rifles across the street after selecting this location and coming here. We know that they fired aggressively into that place. We know that they posted favorable sentiment on social media towards anti-Semitic groups. So from my standpoint, I want to be just very clear on how we feel here in Jersey City, and we want to be transparent with our community on what's happening. We want to be quick with information, and we want to tell them what's happening because I think that they deserve it, and if they're going to trust us, we need to be forthright with information. So I wanted to be clear on why we've called it a hate crime and what we believe and why it points in that direction, and waiting does a disservice to anti-Semitism, anti-Semitic sentiment. It does a service to anti-Semitism in the sense of not calling it out for what it is. We have several of the representatives here who represent this area on the City Council, and they wanted to talk a little bit about this community because I think as the national attention has shifted to where Jersey City is today, some of the things get distorted. This is a community, before I turn it over to them, that has no doubt faced challenges, but at the same time has experienced historic drops in crime over the last several years, thanks to great community partnerships, hard work of the police department, and hard work of the community. And I don't want that to get lost here. This is a tragedy for all of Jersey City, and we're going to work together to heal. So I'll turn it over to Councilwoman Joyce Waterman here, who represents this area and all of Jersey City.
WATTERMAN. Well, you know, we're sorry for what happened here, but we really want to make it clear that this is a loving community. I really want to make that very clear. I've serviced this community for about 7 years, being on the council, and we have been welcoming to any nationality that has come here. These are loving people. These people here do not have hate in their heart, and I want to make that clear. I really want to make that clear. We've always been welcoming, and we will continue to be welcoming. And I just want to introduce you to Jermaine. You want to have something to say?
Councilman Jermaine Robinson, ROBINSON. First, I just want to say that my heart is heavy, and my heart goes out to all of the victims, it's the police, and our Jewish community, our brothers in this fight here. A great leader once said, "Hate can't drive out hate. Only love can do that." And I think Ward F is a resilient community. We're standing here on Martin Luther King Drive, and I believe that message still lives on. I'm a firm believer in Martin Luther King. I'm a firm believer in Jersey City and Ward F, and I'm going to ask the community and the residents to make sure that we keep love in our heart and make sure that we can continue to make sure that our Ward F thrives and make sure that our Martin Luther King Drive doesn't fall behind because of this. I truly believe that we still have a long way to go, and we will make sure that Ward F continues to move forward. And we are the most diverse city in the country, and we are accepting to everyone. You know, I'm proud to be a Black American. I'm proud to be here in this community, and I'm proud to share this community with everyone who calls Jersey City and Ward F home. Thank you.
This is a mixed community, okay, with African American, Hispanic, Jews. This is a mixed community, and really want to convey that this is a mixed community. and African Americans has always been welcoming to other cultures coming into their community. And we will continue to remain like that, and we will work together.
Angela, you want to say anything? We'll open up to questions.
I just want to echo the mayor as well as Councilwoman Waterman and Councilman Jermaine Robinson. We are one. We come together, and despite what just happened, we will continue to work together to make sure that we heal together. We are very welcoming to everyone. And I was born and raised right here in Jersey City. And I just want everyone to know that this community is one. So we are all mourning together, and we have to heal together. Thank you.
Spell your name, ma'am.
MCKNIGHT.
Angela.
Angela. Assemblywoman Angela McKnight. Okay, if there's any questions.
The state or the county has to stop calling it a hate crime?
Well, we had conversations earlier on what type of information can be shared and when it could be shared. And my sentiment is that it should be viewed as a hate crime and called out aggressively and called out quickly. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. You can interpret how you want to interpret it.
Mayor, at what point is this not only a hate crime but also terrorism, as we talked about
Yeah.
today?
Look, I'm going to leave that component to the further investigation. I just wanted to be clear from what we know from our CCTV cameras and some of the comments around hate and anti-Semitism. There's no question it was an attack on the Jewish community. There's no other way to interpret it when you look at the facts. And you know, like I said, as a Holocaust survivor family, it's important for me to recognize it for what it is, and that's what it is. And so I just want to be clear.
There have been attacks on the Jewish community.
Okay. The ones I have seen have been on Facebook, and like I said, favorable sentiment towards anti-Semitic groups.
There have been anti-Semitic attacks in Brooklyn, uptick in that in the recent weeks and months. Why do you think that they came here to a very diverse community like we've already heard from other people?
Okay, so from my understanding, the actors have had a great deal of familiarity with Jersey City. They've been here before. They've resided in Jersey City before, and the locations of the Jewish yeshiva and the grocery stores are no secret to anybody in the community. As Angela said and Joyce said, we're an embracing community, a warm community. Everybody gets along together, and everybody knows the locations of others' houses of worship and where they reside. And if somebody had intent to be hurtful towards a facility like that, a Jewish community, yeshiva, it's not hard to find. Okay, and at the time of the incident, there were 50 to 70 children there, and that's from the community in the conversation earlier when we met with the Satmar community from Williamsburg and from here. There were a lot of tears on all sides, tears of sorrow, talking about the funerals and how we can help, and at the same time a strange appreciation for the fact that it didn't become something much more worse than what it had been. I mean, we recognize, and I shared with them earlier today, the information of the pipe bomb before the press conference, because I thought it was important for them to understand the fact that things could have been much worse. And I think that they appreciate it, and I think that's our responsibility as elected officials.
Mayor, was there any indication that they had planned to go and attack where the children were?
Okay, so I'm not going to speak to what their intent is and their plan. I'm going to speak to their actions, and you could connect the dots fairly straightforward. If we wait forever for some clear message saying that I'm going to go attack a yeshiva, maybe we'll never call out anything as anti-Semitic. And my view is that when you look at all of their actions during the day, it's very clear what they tried to do and where they went and why they went and how they acted. I don't know how anybody can interpret it any other way. And we live in a time where it's important to call out hate for what it is and do it quickly. And that's what we want to do.
Describe the writings that were found in the van in addition to the
Do you want to talk to that, Director?
Anything found in the van is evidence and is part of the active investigation by the Attorney General's office, so we're going to leave that question to the Attorney General, who I believe has promised another press conference tomorrow.
Does that also, that information, or that material in the van also indicates that this was racial?
Look, I'm not saying that, and I'm not going to comment on that at this point. I think I was pretty clear.
Going on in the cemetery, what
Look, yeah, I think that's part of the, I mean, look, the Attorney General indicated it's part of the investigation. That's still unclear on all of the information around that. I would suspect that it's going to be a little bit of time before we understand all of that, but we feel pretty comfortable that they're related, and the individuals were suspects, primary suspects in the homicide in Bayonne.
Can you confirm that Bayonne had put out an APB for that, to look for that car, that Jersey City Cops knew to look for that, and that may have just somebody else? I mean, that's...
We can confirm that, yes, we had information to, from the homicide unit that they were searching for a vehicle of that description as a vehicle of interest.
And when the 911 call came, was the officer's radio sound, or was the officer...
I'm not going to get into any of the events in the cemetery. It's an active homicide investigation. I'm going to refer that to the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office.
Mr. Mayor, the PBA and the AG are asking people not to donate to these GoFundMe pages, saying they're fraudulent. Where do you stand on that, and how do you spot a GoFundMe that's fake?
I mean, look, the president of the PBA and I had a conversation late last night about setting up the page that's up there today. It's on my social media. It's on the city's social media. I feel pretty comfortable, being that I was involved in setting that up, that it is going to the right place. And you know, people should stick to that. At the end of the day, every dollar that's raised there will go there. And I just want to highlight that once the Jewish community is done sitting Shiva, we will also post information on how you can support the Jewish community and the people that were lost in that community as well. And I don't want that to get lost in the whole conversation here. So we'll put that out there once Shiva is finished.
Can you stand on the Facebook messages?
No, I cannot. No.
So what was it? How do you
No,
know
I
that
think
there are Facebook
well, I've
messages
seen.
that are
What I told you is what I've seen. So I feel pretty comfortable in saying what I've seen, and the reason I'm sharing it is not because it's my theories or feelings on it. I mean, like, I could tell you, or I'm not going to tell you, but I could tell you accurately that if there's favorable sentiment towards anti-Semitic groups, that's a fact. Okay, and
Was this manifesto publicly
I'm not sure
anywhere?
that the manifesto is, or whatever you call that thing, is unrelated to this. What you asked about social media. So that's it.
That's, again, all of that is part of an active investigation. You'll have to ask the Attorney General.
Mr. Mayor, what can you do
I'll
in
just
the
last one.
future? What can you do in the future to address this sort of thing?
Look, what can you do in the future? I think the council people spoke to the fact that this community is a warm community, a community that's inclusive, a community that's tolerant, and you know, this is the type of thing that if somebody has a deliberate intent to harm somebody else, as was the case here, it's very, very difficult to police around that. I think the JCPD did an extraordinary job. I was at the command post the entire time yesterday, and I can't tell you what a terrific job Mike Kelly did, the chief of police. I've served in Iraq in the Marine Corps. It's a very similar predicament when you have that type of chaos happening all at once. And he had command of a lot of different agencies. He did a terrific job allocating resources, and he kept our officers safe from that point on. And more importantly, he kept the broader community safe. So I don't know what we could have done to prevent it. I could tell you that when it happened, the JCPD did a great job. We've invested, just one final point on this, we've invested a ton of money in active shooter training over the last couple years. We started this 5 years ago, putting money into active shooter training, updating our weapons, and it is a sad state of affairs that we live in a world that we have to spend money on that. We've had 2 active shooter incidents this year alone, one at the Newport Mall and one over here. And it is just a terrible, terrible thing that we are spending resources on that. Thank God that we put money into training, because I think that makes a big difference in the readiness of the police department, and they demonstrated that yesterday. Okay? Well, thank you all for that. Okay? Thanks.
Will Dupree here in the KXAN live studio. You are watching the end of a live media briefing that both the mayor of Jersey City, New Jersey, and other city leaders were talking about the shootings there that happened yesterday. A police officer was shot and killed, as well as 3 other people inside a Jewish deli about a mile from that cemetery. You can see the media is dispersing there. Obviously, they're following updates on this shooting that happened yesterday. What they are saying is that the mayor is now calling this a hate crime. He repeated that several times during his statements earlier. However, law enforcement, including the Attorney General of New Jersey and the FBI and some other agencies, earlier today said that they are not willing to go that far. They are not saying that at this point. They are not using those words. They repeated during their press conference this afternoon that the motive still remains unclear and is a subject of its investigation. You are again looking live at a press conference that is disbanding and breaking down right now. In Jersey City, New Jersey, the mayor of that city just spoke along with at least 2 other council members and an assemblywoman. They obviously are devastated by what has happened there. An officer is dead along with 3 other people after a series of shootings carried out by 2 suspects, a man and a woman. Those suspects are also dead. Police said earlier that they took an armored vehicle into the store where the second shooting happened, where those 3 people died, and later identified the bodies of the shooters. We are, of course, following this story as it develops in Jersey City there after a deadly shooting on Tuesday killed a police officer and then 3 other people. You can see that the feed has been taken down there from NBC. We again are following the latest updates here at KXAN, and we'll provide more information on our website, kxan.com.